Hello, and welcome to the PSA Inner Circle Leadership Presentation Series brought to you by the PSA Leadership Committee. Today we have with us Bruce Pontier. Bruce is the Vice President and Regional General Manager for Securidyne Systems. He is responsible for the region's overall operations, including sales, business management, corporate strategy, and customer service. Bruce has over 32 years of diversified engineering systems experience. Mr. Pontier has held positions of leadership with Fortune 500 corporations, as well as owning several businesses. This Leadership Inner Circle presentation will give you a more in-depth look into coaching versus mentoring. You will learn about the skills and characteristics of coaches and mentors, comparing the roles of coaches and mentors, when to coach, when to mentor, and developing a plan for your organization. Welcome, Bruce.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk to the group today a little bit about a topic that's pretty important to me, personal level. I'm glad that Mike joined, so I can actually use my line of for those that haven't met me yet, because I don't think we've met, Mike. I'm the Southeast Regional Vice President for Securidyne. I'm based in New Orleans. I cover the 5 states in the Southeast. What we're going to talk to you today about is really coaching and mentoring. There's a lot of similarities between the two, but they're really separate and distinct methods. Coaching is really extending traditional methods, right? It's monitoring, it's observation, it's a corrective action. It needs to be done in an impartial and non-judgmental fashion. But as opposed to mentoring, which is really an employee training system where you pair some folks together, typically a more senior guy with a more junior person, and it's a situation where you act as an advisor, counselor, guide. I think coaching is really best done in a supervisory or a professional paid compensation role. It's usually someone that reports to you when you're in a coaching situation. Sometimes it can be an external contractor assisting with that, but it's more of that kind of role. Mentoring is more of what I call a philanthropic or unpaid role. The person could in fact work for the same company that you do, but it's typically not someone that you're responsible for. It's typically someone that would have a different reporting structure. I think mentoring is more a service that's provided out of a generosity of your spirit. You really want to give something back to an individual or to the company. And since it's not compensated in that fashion, the overall performance is not tied to the mentee. So it brings a certain objectivity that you don't have in a coaching model. What we want to try to cover today is the skills and characteristics of a coach versus a mentor, compare the roles, look at a little bit of when to coach versus when to mentor, and talk a little bit about developing a plan for your own organization. There's a number of great resources out there on the internet. Some of them are fee paid, some of them are through industry associations, but there's a lot of good data out there to assist you. Mentors are generally more experienced, higher ranked. The focus is again on self-development beyond just a specific situation. The characteristics of the coach versus the mentor, they really provide career advice, can help open doors and make industry connections. Coaches can be internal or external. They will typically ask a lot of open-ended questions, help evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of the individual or team that they're coaching, offer advice to better a process or a situation or an individual performance. I think in either role, to be effective, you really have to have an unconditional positive regard toward the client. You're supportive, you're non-judgmental of the person you're working with. non-judgmental of their views, their lifestyle, their aspirations. I think that's a key thing in either situation. Mark Twain, history's leader, says, keep away from people who try to belittle your ambitions. Small people always do that, but really great make you feel that you can become great as well. Slight paraphrase there. I think the essential characteristics, you need to nurture somebody to develop their own personal competencies. You don't want to develop an unhealthy dependency on the coach or the mentor relationship. Coaching is decisive. A coach identifies immediate and long-term needs, develops action plans, provides instruction, assessment, monitoring, and there's a specific desired result to be achieved. Mentoring is more about nurturing. You find some identified need that the individual has or that they've identified, and you become an active listener with no specific agenda, someone who can suggest and explore options. Pretty early in my career, I kind of unknowingly had a mentor. I'd never worked in a formal mentor-mentee program until joining Securidyne 2 years ago. But, when I was growing up, I didn't have the good sense to go to college. I left high school and did 18 months in an automotive trade school and ended up going after a couple steps to work for a foundry as a machinist. There was an older gentleman there named John Gerard, and John had been a retired industrial engineer, had worked primarily in the aerospace during his career. He had actually been involved with some portions of the Manhattan Project back in the day. He had retired, was driving his wife crazy, came to work for the little company that I was working for, and he saw something in me. He began to take me under his wing and challenged me. Made me think, gosh, did I really want to run a lathe or a milling machine for the rest of my life? Made me understand that there was more out there. Went so far as to take me to his home, and invite me in, on a couple occasions, and really affected me in a way that got me thinking, got me going back to college at night, got me started on an early stages of an engineering degree. Still haven't finished that, by the way, but up to about 40 credits at Tulane until I joined Securidyne. That's a separate target. But I think there's mentors out there that really affect you. What started out kind of as individual coaching, in this case, transitioned into a mentoring relationship, and it really impacted my life and my career. I think the coach, comparing the roles, the coach really focuses on assisting the person to learn the attitude, the behaviors, the skill needed to perform successfully. The tasks are well defined, have specific focus and specific timelines. The mentor really focuses on the individual more broadly. Their general work in life, their interactions can be much more philosophical. It's really entirely on the individual and their long-term outcome, not a specific task situation. I think I've really learned that there's a huge difference between the two activities. History leaders, John Cullen says, mentor and coach others whenever you can. Your teaching will deepen your own learning. Definitely agree with that. You will learn from this process. Coaching is a short-term corrective action. Mentoring is to understand the diversity and talents of the individual, to learn from each other and really affect a potential individual and business cultural change. Coach to correct a problem, whether it's either with an individual team or a business process. It's usually where you have skin in the game and you need to fix something is the time to be a coach. Mentor if you want to make an investment in someone and in yourself. It's time consuming. It takes a lot of dedication to get it right. You have to be willing to clear your desk, your mind, and your schedule if you want it to work, but it will pay dividends that can last a lifetime. It certainly did in my case. When to coach, when to mentor. Again, coaching is specific performance action. Mentoring is about the holistic need for the individual. I think having a formal mentor program in your organization really can impact the corporate culture on a broader scale. If you identify high potential folks that are either on the verge of becoming a much bigger influence in your organization or at risk of leaving your organization because they can't make that mark, those are the people you want to pick and work with as potential mentees. It's kind of an elite group of folks that you want to work with. Folks that you're really wanting to have an increased commitment from, people that you want to have a real personal investment in the success of your organization and in the success of your team. So I think it's a process that can raise a lot of awareness. You can learn a lot about what the rank and file is thinking through the process. So I see a lot of value in it. How do you inspire others as a coach or mentor? The quote from John Maxwell, people may hear your words, but they feel your attitude. Coaching is about prompt corrective action. I think the inspiration there comes from knocking down a barrier, creating an efficiency, making life easier for both the individuals, the team, or the business. Mentoring is about a relationship. It has to be built on trust, complete confidentiality and value to both parties. I can't emphasize the complete confidentiality. I mean, there's things that you can learn through a mentoring relationship that you would like, in some cases, take immediate action on and share things that may have impact. You can't violate that trust in a mentoring relationship. It's a long-term commitment, and unless there's really trust on both parties, it won't be effective. I think both parties benefit one way or another. By making significant transitions in knowledge, the career development, and the thought process on the outlook on their lives. I think the best method for either coaching or mentoring is in a face-to-face situation. Unfortunately, with the way we work today, that's really not always practical. The second best format, and the one I really have the most experience with, is using Skype or a video call of some kind. It does give you a chance to have eye contact and monitor, more than just the verbal conversation. We started a formal mentoring program at Securidyne. We call it Expedition Securidyne. That's kind of our overall employee cultural journey, if you will. It incorporates our handbook and our core values and all that we call Expedition. The mentor-mentee program, we call it the Alpine team. I think we kicked off the first group just about a year ago in June, and we identified 10 or 12 employees, paired them with senior managers. I had the pleasure of mentoring a highly successful sales professional that we have in our Dallas office, and we met on a regular basis. It was a scheduled time. It was a somewhat sacred time, and we did it initially a couple times a month and cut it back to once a month. I think this individual and I, learned so much from each other that when it came time to graduate this past summer and start the new class, at his suggestion and my agreement, we decided to keep it on the calendar. We both saw a benefit in spending that time together because we had gotten to know each other and help each other in discussions of things that were well beyond the confines of Securidyne, and we both saw a benefit in it. We started another group this past July. Been working with another sales professional in our organization. Very different guy than the year before, and it's going well. We are still in the couple time a month meeting. We block an hour, do a video call, and shut everything else off, and make time for each other to do it. I think, in developing a mentoring plan, you want to recruit key leaders or influencers as your leadership sponsors. That, like we said, that those mentors can be either internal or external. If you're in a smaller company situation, there may be, past board member, past, employee, someone that might be a resource to you to reach out to. But you want to present a plan, and have a unified message with everyone that's going to be involved in the program. You want to talk a little bit about the differences between mentoring and coaching and what they're getting into. Mentor relationships can be for new folks, sometimes less experienced folks, to have someone to go to. I kind of, in my mind, think of that more a little bit coaching than mentoring. I think the mentoring is for a really a little bit more elite group. Again, you want to select those individuals that have high potential or people that might be at risk. Really identify and pair the mentees outside of their reporting structure so there's no conflicts in the relationship. And I think usually the best pairings have different but complementary characteristics in their personalities. For executive level, you're probably going to have to reach outside the company for additional resources. I know I'm running kind of long here, Julie, so I'll try to wrap it up. History's leader says mentoring is a brain to pick, an ear to listen to, a push in the right direction. Quote from John Crosby. I think today, mentoring is about an agreement developed between the parties, completed, preferably signed between both parties. We don't do that at Securidyne, but, in some of the research prepping for this, that seemed to me to be a really good idea. It's commitment, to the mentoring relationship with individual goals, learning content, a meeting schedule. It's dedicated. It's really almost a sacred time that must be the highest priority and scheduled around.
Thank you, Bruce. And thank you for joining us for our Leadership Inner Circle presentation on mentoring versus coaching, featuring Bruce Pontier of the PSA Leadership Committee. To experience more of the great content produced by PSA's Leadership Committee, please visit our website. That is psasecurity.com, and go to the committee section of the website. Thank you very much to Bruce Pontier of Securidyne Systems. Please do visit our website, that's psasecurity.com, to be sure that you are leveraging all that PSA Security Network has to offer. On our homepage, you can access our future webinar events, on-demand recordings like this one, educational offerings, and business solutions. This will conclude our presentation. Thank you, and have a great day.